This is Jacob. This is Holden. This is Sean. Hi, I'm Ben Wallace, and I'm pretty sure most of you have gone out to the beach and played in the ocean, or either have had fun in the waves and maybe gotten taken under a couple times by some big ones. I'm gonna tell you about one time how I almost drowned, and when parents tell you to do something, you should probably listen to them. This took place at Carolina Beach when I was about 8 years old, and the people involved were my friend, some parents, two strangers, and myself. It was Memorial Weekend, and my family and others usually go on a beach trip every year to have a good time. One day, all of us kids were playing on the beach all morning, and all the other kids except me and a friend went to go get lunch. So while I was playing in the sand, like all the little kids do usually, a huge wave caught the corner of my eye, crashing onto the shore. I thought it'd be fun to go into the ocean, play around, and maybe even get knocked over by a couple of waves. So I walked up to the water and slowly made my way in because I had to get used to the cold water. I remember my mom yelling at me to not go far because the water was rough that day, and she saw on the news that there was a bad rip current. So then, as a kid, I had short memory and didn't really listen to her. So I ran out until I was about chest deep, but where the wave could still crash over my head. One huge wave finally came over my head and took me under. I could feel the water pulling against my body, sucking me out pretty far to where I couldn't swim back. I was then treading water for a few minutes, realizing my situation, and started yelling for help. Waves kept crashing over my head, and I was slowly sinking deeper into the water, yelling for help. As I kept swallowing water, as I was gasping for air, I was starting to get worried. I started to become hopeless as nobody noticed. I got swept out and nobody could hear me. Finally, I saw my friend notice I was in trouble and alerted all the parents. I then saw two men come out on a boogie board and swim as fast as they could. Luckily, I was able to tread long enough for them to be able to come and get me. After I got back to shore, I puked my guts out and felt so sick, but I was so happy and relieved that I was finally saved. I then realized that parents do give the best advice and don't say things for no reason. The rest of the trip was really good, and the parents made sure the kids didn't go far into the ocean, especially me, even though I was a little afraid to go back in. Now that you know my story, next time you doubt what your parents have to say, stop and listen, or else you could end up puking your guts out like me. Thank you for listening.